according to our program, the next thing we need to do now is next steps. So the question is, what next? After this event, what are we going to do as countries, and what are we going to do as institution, the bank? We have listened to the presentations, the reports from the group sessions. We have seen what the common challenges are and what individual country challenges are. We've listened to proposed solutions. We've also listened to requested technical assistance. So on the part of the bank, we will take on board your suggestions and your requests, or rather identified needs, and look at them and assess them and move forward. If you recall, yesterday, when I was making my presentation, I said that the approach we are using to work in this project is we can do collectively, all the 22 countries, as we are doing now. We can do by grouping, like we did today, and we can do by region. And we can also do by individual country circumstances or needs. So when we analyze all the submissions from the barrier sessions today, we will identify group needs, we'll identify the general needs for everybody, and we'll identify country-specific needs and design appropriate responses to them. Another thing is on the part of the countries themselves. You have listened to presentations since yesterday. You've listened to presentations and experience sharing from colleagues today. What are you taking back home to do immediately? We would want you to send to us your individual country resolutions, what you want to do, and what you'd want the bank or this project to support you with. Okay? I will share my email address. You can send it to me or any of my colleagues, and the earlier you send it, the better for all of us, so that we can take all those things on board. And we should be able to report on what we're able to do in the next couple of months. This is not just a talk shop, it is an action shop, because we want to make changes. So that is for that. So I want to also reiterate that we are available to you every time and any time. You can reach us if you have any need. We have various resources in the institute, in the African Development Institute, that you can take advantage of. Namawu is our knowledge management manager. She's going to show us the link where you can find most of the resources from the institute. Okay? And we'll be reaching out to you from time to time to appraise you and update you of what we have on board that can help you in your capacity development in your various countries. Then, on housekeeping, after the closing remarks from our director, we will officially close this session. But we are not going to go yet, because this evening we are going to have a dinner, and that dinner is a networking dinner where we'll continue the interaction that we started, so that before we go, we have to know each other. Because the essence, one of the objectives of this gathering is for people to network for us to form a community of practice on debt management for transition countries. So we'll have to know each other, we'll have to know who to talk to when we have need in what a particular country is doing. So the dinner is by 7 o'clock, and it will be at the room before the reception. If we are going back to the reception now, there's a room on the left-hand side. That room before the reception, that's where the dinner is going to hold. So I want to thank you very much for your participation, for your patience. Thank you, and God bless you. At this juncture, may I call on the director, Dr. Eric Ogunleye, to give us the closing remarks. Thank you.
Good afternoon. One thing about life is whatever has a beginning must do what? Have an end. It looks like we just started, but it's so interesting to see that we've been here for 2 days now. And so let me start from where Mr. Ibe stopped. He told you there will be networking dinner, there will be working dinner, networking. I just want to add, it's not just all about that. Be ready to dance. So wear your dancing shoes, something comfortable so that we can have a very good time. Is that okay? I think what I want to simply say is, at the African Development Bank, we don't condemn debt. What we condemn, what we feel is bad about debt is, what are the terms of the debt, for example? What is the use to which you put it? So for us, our mantra is, make debt work for Africa. So if you borrow, think about the terms of contracting the loan. If you borrow, think about how do you ensure there are no leakages of those resources into private hands, or they're used for unproductive purposes. So as we go back, I don't want to start repeating what we have all heard. We've heard a lot in the past 2 days, how to negotiate, how to restructure, how to set up a debt management office, what are the best practices in doing that, how to manage cash, and so on and so forth. We all know all of those. And as some of the colleagues have said, most of the challenges we have highlighted here are not something new. They have always been there, we know them. But the question is, where are the solutions? And like I said, at the African Development Bank, we tackle the solutions at different levels. This is just one of them, where we bring technical people together to brainstorm about the problems, but we also reach out to the highest level of decision making on the continent to ensure that we get their buy-in, so that ultimately they would be the one to make the decision, but whatever we're doing here feeds into what gets to them. So rest assured that the bank is doing everything possible, and also to let you know that the bank is your bank, and that is the franchise value we have. If there are capacity development needs you have, feel free to come to us and say, we need capacity in so and so area. We'll do our very best to support you. That is the reason the bank is set up, and that is the objective we're trying to reach. I think suffice to say that so that we can go for lunch. But I want to, in my closing remarks, thank all of us who have made this very interesting conversation possible. And I'll start by thanking the government of Ethiopia. They are host, isn't it? You have enjoyed yourself over the past 2 days, haven't you? They are very wonderful hosts. So let's please give a very warm round of applause to the government of Ethiopia for hosting this very important meeting. I also want to thank all of you, the delegates. If you had not come, we would have been speaking to an empty room, isn't it? And we know how much sacrifices some of you made to ensure you're here. Some of you were detained at the airport to get visas. Some of you, at the last minute, your travels were changed. Thank you nonetheless for ensuring that you make it here. We really appreciate the sacrifice. All of this in the interest of ensuring the continent Africa moves forward. So whatever sacrifice we can make at our different levels, let's do our best to make it happen. If we are doing it individually, you can rest assured that my boss used to say that we should not in Africa create ponds of successes. You know what ponds are? Ponds, you have a pond here, another pond there, another one. But you want to create rivers of successes so that they all flow together throughout the entire continent. So let's individually be doing what we can as individual ponds, but ensure that through that we create rivers of success among ourselves. As my colleagues have highlighted, the purpose of this convening is not just to come and listen, but to network. I said earlier that in previous years, Dr. Abraham Nwankwo, when he was the Director General for the DMO office in Nigeria, had been supported to assist another country, maybe more than one actually, to set up their DMO offices as well. That is the kind of networking, and that is the type of thing that we're doing through the Public Finance Management Academy. We want to ensure that there's that peer learning, there's exchange of views and ideas, and even of staff exchange, so that if you have need, and we have countries who have expertise in that area, we can deploy them to support you on technical assistance that you may require. So please know that you have this resource at your disposal and make very good use of it. Now, we have several other colleagues who had also made this meeting a success. We have our IT colleagues. Our IT usually, we call them angels. You only see what they do, but you don't see them. For this meeting to run smoothly, they did an excellent job. So please, let's give a round of applause to all our IT colleagues. You notice that the interpreters are not here. They are in Abidjan. It is IT that made it possible for you to be hearing, for them to be interpreting, and for you to be hearing them real time. So we really appreciate all the efforts. I don't want to start mentioning names, otherwise there will be too long a name to mention. But we really thank them indeed for making this meeting a very successful one. We also have, following to that, our interpretation colleagues who also ensure that the interpretation, even though there are a few IT issues, maybe internet connection, but we're able to hear ourselves properly. We thank them also for all their efforts. We have our communication colleagues on ground. I'm sure you've been hearing them. Some of them have been talking to you, interviewing you, and they will still do that over dinner and in the next few hours to come. Thank you very much for all the effort. We really appreciate your support. Then our travel. Organizing a meeting as big as this is very challenging with people coming from different parts of Africa. And we know how difficult it is to travel within Africa. But our travel colleagues were able to make it happen, to ensure that you got your ticket. I know some of you on your way to the airport when your ticket met you on the way. It's a bit challenging, but they pulled it through and we're all here to attend this. So please, let's give it up to them for their very wonderful support. We also have our service provider, our IT. We thank you, supported by my dear friend Gaurav Kumar. Thank you so much for making this room very seamless and fit for purpose, for use to ensure that we enjoy the entire program from the beginning to the end. The management of this hotel also contributed, Hilton Hotel, contributed a great deal to the success of this event, and we thank them very much. Daniel may not be here, but he led the team that supported us to make it happen. We thank them very much. Above all, I want to thank my colleagues at the African Development Institute. I would like to request that they stand up for a rising ovation. It's a very excellent job they did. ICAD colleagues who are here, African Development Institute, including the... Okay, thank you so much. It looks like most of them are still out there doing several other things. Very few we are, but we're doing very excellent job. Coordinating this meeting, preparing the materials, ensuring we're here, actually they made it happen. There's a man there who's been having sleepless nights, maybe sleeping 2 hours a day. You know, sometimes we call each other at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and by 7 a.m., 8 a.m., you have to be here. That is part of the dedication and passion that we have for African development, and we hope to keep it burning. We also have a policy lab unit faculty members. They are highly experienced, like I said, and you do have heard them. Some of you know them. They were former debt managers, they were former treasury chairmen, some of them were revenue generating agencies, some were ministers of finance. But because of the passion they have that Africa needs to develop and deal with the debt challenges it's facing, they found time, despite their extremely busy schedule, to be here. So I'd like to please say, the faculty members who are here, can you please also rise up for recognition, please? Thank you so very much. We really appreciate. And one of us, I don't know if he's hearing me, Honorable Mohamed Boussaid, is also a former Minister of Finance in Morocco. At the last minute, he fell ill and couldn't make it. But despite that, he did everything he could to be here. We also have the Director of the Governance Department, who also, that's Mr. Abdullah Koulibaly, who sacrificed a great deal, you know, to attend this event. And we also have a number of our colleagues in the country office here, at the African Development Bank country office here in Ethiopia, who also left what they were doing to come to support us. We have Dr. Abdul Kamara, who is currently the country director for Nigeria department, and previously the Deputy Director General for the East Africa. We also have my very good friend, Abibu Tamu. I don't want to start mentioning names, really. Elizabeth, Hamlet, Nachet, so many of them who contributed to the success of this event. So please, let us continue to work together. Africa needs us, and Africa has great needs. As individuals, we can contribute to bridging this gap. Think within your circle. You may say it's a small circle. In the small office you occupy, what can you do? What is within your power? Every time ask yourself, what do I have on hand that I can use? Thinking about that, if you do, I do, and we all do, we can rest assured that that rivers of success that we are hoping to achieve will get there. So once again, thank you very much.